Hey, welcome back to A Faster Me. This is going to be the Roger Millikan crit. This is the women's P123. And I'm a little behind getting this out only because we went to Valley of the Sun. And I was hoping that the women can actually do the voiceover for this video. You know, we had all three of well, Anastasia wasn't there, but we had the other three riders in the video. And I was hoping that they could do the voiceover, but just didn't have a lot of time. We ended up just concentrating on racing and did a great job. So those videos will be out soon as well. But anyway, this is Marlena's point of view here. If you see the power at the bottom, that's going to be Marlena's video. And if you see the grade at the bottom, that's going to be Elisa's video. So I kind of blended the two. It's the entire race straightforward, but I just kind of blended the two videos together. So this is not one of our normal cookie cutter crits. It's not too technical, but it's just not the four corner crit and has a little bit of elevation gain on it. This is after turn 2 here, going up the back stretch or kind of like the back straight. And then it kind of flows to the left here into some S's. You can see it's a lot of false flat to begin with, and then it goes up to about 4% peak. Very competitive race, had a really good field as well. I believe this is only like the third race of the season, so people are still not in complete race shape yet, but just kind of rounding into form a little bit. So yeah, then after you hit this left here, it's going to kick up again to, like I said, maybe 3-4%. And then you're going to have a little hill right as you turn left. There's a little hump also before you hit the downhill finish. So yeah, we have four riders in this race for AFM. You got Anastasia, Morgan, Elisa, and Marlena in this race. Even though this race is not your normal four corner and has a little bit of an uphill, it's still a fast flowing course. It's not a slow course. You know, it can bottleneck sometimes going up the uphill, but other than that, it's a really fast flowing course, and like, you know, half of it's downhill, half of it's uphill. This is a pretty fast sweeping turn here, going to the steepest part of the course here on the downhill. And then he comes into a really fast left-hander. A lot of people kind of nervous to take this in some of the other categories. I mean, these women shouldn't have any real issues with this corner, but in some of the lower categories, a lot of people are kind of nervous going into this turn. Often you're going to be taking that turn at above 30 miles per hour going into it. You got Anastasia up front, just kind of setting a little pace with Morgan on her wheel. It's good at the beginning of the season too. Some of the Northern California ladies come down and race down here in the South and Southern California, and just I've talked to some in the past, just saying like we have really fast crits, so it kind of prepares them for their race season up north and for any like national level races that they're doing. It's a pretty good sized field, not anything too major, but I think we're over 20 riders. And anytime we have a field of over 20, it's a decent sized field. This is also Super Bowl Sunday, and it's unfortunate the women have to race last on Super Bowl Sunday. This is like 4 o'clock start time, so a lot of the spectators and stuff are gone. It kind of has the numbers down as well. But, traditionally, I think the last so many years, this race has been on Super Bowl Sunday. So just kind of hard for anyone that races later in the day. Is there's pretty much just no one watching. You can see to the left there, all the tents are gone, or a lot of the tents are gone that were there throughout the day. Anyway, I think that's Feline off the front there, putting in a little attack and got the speed up pretty high. Got a little bit of a chase group here trying to run her down. I think that's Alexa right here in front of Colleen. And I'm not sure if that's Morgan still chasing second wheel there. No, it's still Anastasia chasing second wheel. All right, and there's Morgan now chasing. That's Anastasia just pulled off from the chase to the right. Morgan takes over the chase duties there, and Alexa's on her wheel with Colleen following, and then Marlena. All back together again. But you can see there's a little bite on these corners, especially on the uphill a little bit. You see Marlena just came out of that corner at 500 watts. So, over time and depending on what pace you're running, this little uphill can add a little fatigue to the legs. And there, I think that's Roz from Alto Velo shooting up the left side. Can't really tell. I don't know if Morgan went on a little attack there or maybe just got a preem. But definitely the speed's high again. You'll see coming into turn one, they're, close to 30 miles per hour. I raced earlier in the day in the 50 plus, the Masters 50 plus, and our speed was pretty high. We averaged, mid to high 26s, maybe 27. I think I averaged 26.6 or something like that. But, honestly, I don't think we were going too fast into turn one. Turn two here, we had some pretty good speed, but turn one, I don't think we were over 30 miles per hour too often going into turn one. So the girls definitely have the speed up. And again, this is all false flat here. And there goes Marlena on the counter attack. You can see she put in a big dig there. You can see the shadows, so somebody's right on her wheel there. Still a good effort, though, good counterattack. Don't want people to rest too much, especially they were just chasing for a lap and a half. It's pretty good speed up this 3%. I know how most of you that watch this channel, you guys probably know how kind of, I wouldn't say, I don't know, just kind of how I comment on cornering a lot. And, both of the ladies that I have on film took the corners pretty well throughout the day. And it's just something to have like a little more intention with where you ride your bike, where you place your bike. I think sometimes people go through corners and without like any purpose. They just kind of randomly turn anywhere in the street. It's just not that effective, and it decreases your speed. Proper lines and just reading the flow of the course can allow you to carry higher speed. And that little half a mile per hour, makes a difference in the long run. So you got Feline on the front here. I think that's Roz moving up there. And oh yeah, I forgot. Elisa's in the leader's jersey here. She's in the yellow and the green. She's wearing the yellow now. You always wear the basically the GC leader jersey opposed to the sprint jersey. And this is Elisa's camera now. It's also a little funny, like you see the women are on the right side of the road here, coming through the S's. In our race, we were pretty much never on this side. We just kind of straight lined it straight through these S's. And sometimes the women take it a little different. They kind of follow the contours of the road. And we pretty much straight line it, straight to that turn basically there. And if you watched any of the other women's races, I think Roz here was in the black kits before, and I think she recently joined Altavelo. So I think in the last race or the first race of the season, I didn't know her name or whatever, and I had, made that mention. So they're just sprinting here for a Prix. I think it was actually a box of chocolates. I think Anastasia just kind of got her at the line there for a box of chocolates. And then Feline kind of followed them here, and I'm not sure if she is going to try to get off the front or not. Yeah, I think she does pass by and kind of counters a little bit. There's Alexa again in front of us, or in the front of the camera. Yeah, so they got a pretty decent gap here. I just don't think they're not working together, to kind of extend the gap. But they do have a pretty decent gap here. And there goes Holly trying to bridge up to that break there, or run it down, whichever. Sees there's 4 riders on her wheel. Definitely a hard effort by everyone to get the speed up here and kind of run it down. See Anastasia and Roz kind of coming back now. They're kind of starting that. They pretty much started it with the Prix sprint. Yeah, I think Morgan's up there in the break, but definitely got girls chasing here. And Elisa's just trying to chase and close it down as well. Yeah, it's only a small gap. I think this might be Ashley Beamer also there. She's one of the Northern California riders that comes down and races our crits out here at the beginning of the season. Oh yeah, we don't have anyone in this group, so good job by Elisa running it down and kind of making sure we're represented here, just in case something were to stick. Really strong rider from Fount up there, kind of leading the charge right here. I can't remember her name exactly. I know she raced Valley of the Sun this weekend also, did a great job. Super strong. I believe that's Taylor in front of us, Taylor Mize. Yeah, she's been on the front for a little while now, but it has a pace. I mean, it has the group pretty stretched out, single file, so they're going pretty good pace here. Like I said, approaching 30 coming into turn 1. Yeah, it's starting to settle down now. I don't know if she just noticed that everybody's still on her. But then it goes Feline with the counter attack. Great job. And Marlena's trying to cover it. So we switch back to Marlena's camera here, just watching her cover the attack by Feline. Definitely the beauty of having teammates, not having the same person having to cover every move. So you can kind of rotate that responsibility. So yeah, Feline's just chilling now. She knows everybody's on her. They say this is the last year of this race, or at least at this location. They say they're gonna, if they have it, it's gonna be somewhere else next year. But be sad to see it go. This is a really nice course. Everybody likes it. Wish it wasn't on Super Bowl Sunday. Get some more people out. It's a tough course as well. Like I said, it's not our normal flat four-corner crit. I mean, it's not that much elevation, and it's still really fast and rides about the same speed as a four-corner crit, but it's still just a little bit of variety. Not technical, but adds a little bit of a technical feel to people just because we're so used to the four-corner fast crits. Yeah, so Marlena's on the front for a second now, just, riding tempo. Anytime you get slow like this, though, you better watch for a counter. Somebody's going to counter pretty soon. I actually think it's our girls that are going to counter here. Yeah, I don't want to give up all of our strategies or anything, but we did want a break. We wanted to try to create a break here. It just wasn't sticking. Got some really strong girls, so they weren't going to let us, just get off the front and create a break. Morgan almost jumped right there, which I think she should have. I think she should have jumped there, but she's going to jump here in a second. But I think it would have been better for her to jump before the turn. And Elisa goes with her here. They do get a little bit of a gap. But I think if she'd have jumped before the turn, it would have been easier to get a little bit more separation, especially because riders would have had to go around Marlena at that point in the turn. So could have had a little separation of speed there. And unfortunately, they catch this lap rider right at the apex of this turn, so she has to run it a little wide. So at this point, there's a little gap. Elisa comes through. Like I said, we would have loved to have a little break here, maybe like a little four-person break. Great high-speed turn there by Elisa, keeping all of her momentum. The road's wide, so she can just run it out. Definitely don't oversteer. When you oversteer is where you lose your speed a lot of times. So Elisa, you saw her shadow. She looked back right there, and she can tell by the shadows that they're caught now. So just kind of shut it down again. It's tough too because they put in a pretty good dig there, and when you get caught, you always have to be ready for the counter, and one of your teammates always has to be prepared to cover. So you always have to stay in pretty good position. You see Feline kind of countered here, but I don't say it's a counter because she really just rolled off the front, just her momentum. But yeah, this little surge now by the rest of the group could be dangerous. And I think then Marlena comes up and covers it, makes sure she's in it. It's kind of like I said, you always want to have one of your teammates in it. We have to have representation there at the front anytime a breakaway has a chance of getting away. And I'm really proud of the team, just how everybody's been selfless. Everybody's willing to work for each other. We have no prima donnas, no big attitudes or anything like that. So it's been awesome just seeing them willing to work for each other, and we don't really care who's represented in the break or who's up there. Yeah, so it's all back together again. Like I said, I really wanted the women to break down this race here just because we were all available. Spent 4 days together up in Arizona, but yeah, it just didn't work out with everyone arriving at different times. It got late quick, and we lost an hour going east. So just with the different time zone, so we kind of lost time to be able to spend an hour on a film doing a voiceover. So yeah, just concentrated on racing. I'm not sure who the young lady is to the right there. I'm not really familiar with that kit. But I've seen her in this race a couple times, so she's in the mix as well. And shout out to Holly right there to the right. First time I think I seen her in the Legion kit. Not 100% sure, but I think she'll be riding with Legion for this season. And there's a young lady from Fount again. My apologies that I can't remember your name right now. But I believe I was with her mother at the finish line, just having a conversation and her mother cheering her on. I just don't want to guess and say her name incorrectly. Super strong rider, though. And again, it's good to see some new faces down here in Southern California and some of our local races. Yeah, no one really wants to just pull the peloton around, but that's kind of what's happening right now with the, moderate pace right now. No counters, no brakes. It's a beautiful Trek bike there. I love that color scheme. I think that's Fabiola right there from Go Fast. There's Anastasia rotating back up to the front again. Once again, you got to cover everything. So she goes again, and you can see Roz up front on the attack. So Anastasia has a jump on that one. Like I said, it's great to be able to rotate some riders through. Share the workload a little bit. I say it's great to have teammates and all that, but it's kind of funny. This is just conversation, but sometimes people try to place their expectations onto you or onto your team, and racing's all about decisions, no matter if you have a team or not. Like, a lot of times other people expect your team to ride a certain way because they have numbers in the race, and that's understandable, but it's also not a responsibility. Um, some will say that it is, but it's really not. It's just a choice. It's a race choice that you make on the day. Um, yeah. And I'm just referring to like things like running down brakes and stuff like that. Yeah, a bigger team could take on that task if they choose to, but if they don't, that's just a choice they made. Yeah, everybody may want to, expect them to run down because they have more numbers, and that is kind of the tradition, but it's not a true obligation. Each team can race the way they want, and obviously most people want the bigger team to do the work because it benefits them, and it doesn't benefit them to chase down the brake. But, that team is not obligated to do that. Everyone has their own race strategies and their own uh, expected outcomes and goals that they want for the race or for the season or for any of the above. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents or whatever. But it is an expectation from a lot of people that spectate, but often it's a selfish expectation. They want you to do all the work so they can preserve themselves for a better finish. All right, so the race is definitely settled in for a couple laps here, kind of lull in the action. And that's typical of crit races. Usually has a pretty hot start. You get a couple attacks here and there, then it kind of settles in the middle and then kind of ramps up again later in the race. Yeah, this is the first time that, the ladies are all over the place, kind of taking any line they want just because the speed is so slow. So again, anytime it's slow, someone's going to attack, and that's basically kind of what happens here. And here Marlena kind of sits off because we got Morgan in a 3-person break, and we'd love it. We'd love for that break to get away. But then Holly kind of tries to bridge here. Altavello kind of jumps here, so Elisa tries to go with it. We don't really want one girl in a break of 6. We'd like to have more numbers there if we can. So if Elisa gets there, Altavello will have 2 girls, we'll have 2 girls, kind of evens things out a little bit. And it's a pretty good sized break. This is definitely dangerous. If 6 girls are in this break or 6 riders in this break, that's pretty dangerous, and I'm pretty sure it was staked just by the specific girls that are in the break. It definitely would get away if they wanted to. Another good turn by Elisa there. Hit a neutral apex. Just kind of ran it wide to maintain the speed. Some people think it's boring, but I definitely go over all the apex drills and stuff with everyone on our team. That's kind of mandatory. It's mandatory that they understand it, and it really does pay off. It's small things, very small things. Like all the riders are strong, so the strength is not an issue. Some I coach, some have their own coaches. That's not an issue. But small things, can improve you or just make life easier for you and kind of let you conserve some of that power until you really need to use it. And just holding momentum through turns is, a big part of that. So yeah, it's all back together again. And you can see the group kind of sat up in the front. So maybe it just wasn't coordinated well, or not everybody maybe wanted to get away, but part of it was ran down, and then part of it was them sitting up. And then I think that's Feline again with the counter up there, and you see Marlena moving to the left. Like I said, just good job of rotating through and everyone sharing the responsibility. You see Feline's way over to the right. Marlena sees it and knows she has to jump on it because Morgan was in the break. Elisa just kind of tried to bridge to it. So, yeah, batter up. Look at that cadence on the fountain bike. That's a really fast cadence there. Marlena has a really fast cadence too. She hovers around 100, high 90s to 100, which is great. Saves your legs just a little bit, and you usually have a pretty good acceleration if you can move the pedals. As you can see the difference there, like Feline has a little bit of a more of a little bit of a grinder cadence. And here goes Elisa on a counterattack here. Got one rider on her wheel. I'm not sure who it is. But yeah, we definitely tried a few times, see if we can get a break to stick. Like I said, that was our original game plan, kind of reduce the field a little bit. Yep, that was Taylor on her wheel. I remember they did have a little two-person breakaway too. I think they do have a gap right now. Yeah, I think they do have a small gap. I don't think it was too many seconds though. I don't think it was more than 5 seconds. Yeah, and the speed's not that high right here. They've come through here over 30 miles per hour. So right now with it being 5 miles per hour lower, it's not that high. Lisa seems to be sitting up, so I'm pretty sure they're caught already now. Yep. Yeah, so the speed's a little down here. You can see they're all bunched up again. That's Melissa to the right there. Yeah, I think with Altavelo, AFM, and the Mommies, and I think Sirius Cycling, I think those are the only teams that had more than one rider in it. So it's not that deep as far as teams this weekend. Obviously, there a lot of different people from different teams, but no one had more than one rider except those 4 teams that I just named. So yeah, the speed is definitely up again now. They did have a lot of preems in this race as well, so sometimes it's people just going for preems to get the speed up. And then, of course, sometimes it's attacks trying to get off the front. This was the same turn. I just switched camera views, so it just rewound back a little bit. Only have a couple laps to go. Yeah, down to maybe like 9 laps to go. I want to say they're racing for 50 minutes today. Usually they're somewhere between 50 and an hour, but I think it was back to 50 minutes today. So Anastasia also, for some reason, takes that right side of this road instead of shooting it straight. She kind of came from the left side to the right there, but you really can run it straight through these S's, and you do not have to be on the right side of the road early. In fact, you should be on the left side of the road early and kind of run it straight across. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but, you know, after you do 20 laps or something and you're adding an extra 30 feet each lap by, you know, if you're taking that line, it ends up being, you know, 600 feet or whatever by the end of the race. And it's the first time going this direction also on this course in the last few years. They used to do it, you know, years ago, but I think the last 3 years have been going clockwise. And this is the first year they decided to go counterclockwise again. So yeah, you got Anastasia on the front. Elisa's right here to the left of Marlena. Wonder if Feline's having a little hand numbness. She kind of hung her right hand out for a little while. So things with this course has a few potholes and bumps, you know, and gas meters and sewer covers. So you definitely can get a lot of vibration through your bars on this course. So Feline launches again with Elisa right on her wheel. Switch cameras to show that. So yeah, if you can see up top, we got like 4 miles to go. So roughly 4 miles to go. So that's going to be probably about 5 laps. And I have the 2 different metrics posted because I don't know why, but Elisa's data file, it never loads the power for me. I think it might be just the exchange from, you know, her sending it to me, and for whatever reason it doesn't load her power and actual computer stats. So I had to use the GPS stats from the GoPro on here. So that's why you have these kind of generic stats. No one needs to know the direction of the course or anything. It wasn't that windy on the day either, but once you hit turn 1, when you turn left, going from between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3, it does feel like a little bit of a cross headwind through here. Nothing too serious, but it does get a little breezy through here though. Just no flags or anything to give a good indication of which direction the wind is going. And it wasn't too significant to begin with. I think that's another lap rider up front there. Maybe the same person, but yeah, I think it's a lap rider. So again, the speed's down, it's bunching up. I think everybody knows it's a bunch sprint now. It's going to end in a bunch sprint. I think we're down to 3 laps to go. Maybe 2 laps to go. Or we might be going into 2 laps to go here. There's Anastasia to the right there. Got Feline and Melissa in front. Yeah, you can definitely tell people's body language is a little bit different. So I'm guessing we're going into 2 laps to go here. Yep, 2 laps to go. And Anastasia launches early there. We just want to get it strung out. We definitely don't want it to be bunched up with 2 laps to go. Kind of keep the speed high. You see everyone's trying to rest for the sprint finish. So Anastasia goes early here. And it's a good job. We want to get it stretched out. We want to keep the speed higher. Yeah, so it's not blazing fast now, but it's still a little faster. Have it stretched out just a little bit. And now it's all back together again. So Elisa jumps on Marlena's wheel here. Just trying to stay to the front as much as we can. Yeah, I think Elisa gets shuffled off here. Just she didn't want to get too pinched going into that corner there. Morgan sitting in pretty good position. And now we're going into the final lap here. You got Holly, I think it is, launched on the right side there. Got everything stretched out. Again, it's smart. You want to stretch it out. You want to reduce the field that you're going to be sprinting against. Morgan definitely has a strong sprint on her. In theory, I'd love to get her out of that last turn first. I think if we can get her out of that last turn first, she'd have a pretty good chance. Feline takes over the front here. Got Altavella shooting up the inside. Puts in a little dig here, which is, again, that's great. It's basically a virtual lead out here. And you see how slow the speed was before they shot through, because everyone had to, really ramp up. Elisa's caught from behind a little bit here. Just not a lot of bite left in the legs after trying to break away so many times. Yeah, so we're not sitting too bad here. I think, like I said, I just really would love to get Morgan out of this last turn first. If she can be first out of the corner, as good as a sprinter she is, not too many people are going to pass her. So maybe one person may come past her at the most. If you see here, the order they're in, whoever came out of the corner first, which is the Fount rider, that's pretty much the finishing position, because it's a downhill sprint, so you can go a little earlier, and it's really hard for people to come around you on a downhill sprint here. So yeah, it pretty much finishes in that order. And I think it was the Fount rider, I forgot her name, Holly Breck, Colleen Gullick, and then Morgan, and then Tyler and Elisa. So this is the same sequence, same ending sequence from Marlena's camera. And we did pretty good on the day. We got 4th, 6th, and 8th. But yeah, would definitely like to be on the box. So you see the same thing. Whoever came out of the corner first is kind of how it ends. I think Marlena passes Fabiola here, and maybe she gets Feline as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll get some Valley of the Sun videos out pretty soon.